Right, so I'm just going to talk about the DVSA Special Test. This is the first part. The examiner is generally referred to as an assessor. It's a bit informal, but it should feel informal. In the old test, the examiner is looking for safety. Here, the examiner is looking for smoothness and safety. So they want you to be really smooth when you're driving. So just drive in a really professional, business-like way. The first part is knowledge and effective use of controls. So everything needs to be used at the right time. So they're going to be looking to see that you use the controls at the right time. Signals. When you come up to a junction, we don't want to automatically put signals on. We want to see if anyone is there to benefit from that signal, and then we put it on. So we only signal if there's anyone to signal to. So the question you ask yourself is, who am I signalling to? There's no one. Okay, so I won't signal. And what that does is that creates a better driver, because you're trying to work out how you influence what's around you, so you're more aware of what's happening around you. And we've got 3-foot controls. Again, these need to be used correctly. So brakes, correct timing and progressively. So we brake nice and early in good time, and then just gradually put more and more pressure on the brake pedal. What we have is you have 3-phase braking. So we have a light take up. So we're braking nice and early, the light take up, and then what happens is the brake lights go on. So people get a really good warning that you're going to slow down. Then the firm braking is where you put a little bit more pressure on and you brake a bit more firmly. And then as you come to a stop, we just ease off the brake a little bit so you don't jerk forward. So it's just easing off the brake a little bit at the end, just so you stop nice and gently. The steering wheel, we use the pull-push technique, and we've got to keep it smooth. So you're looking well ahead and planning what you're going to do. If there's a little bit of rain, anything on the windscreen, you've got to use the wipers. We want to be using the gears at the right time, so using the correct gear at the correct time. Block changing is good, block changing up and block changing down. That sort of, we're in a 30-mile-an-hour limit and we're in second gear, we're approaching 30 miles an hour. The economy gear at 30 is 4th gear, so they want it to go from 2nd to 4th rather than go 2nd, 3rd, 4th, so that you're, just not wasting time and energy. They don't want to see unnecessary gear changes. And then the equivalent obviously is that in a 20-mile-an-hour limit they want to go 1st to 3rd, and then in a 50-mile-an-hour limit, if you're getting the acceleration up, then we can go 40-mile-an-hour limit, we go 3rd to 5th gear. On that, obviously, if you need the acceleration, then we'll go into 5th gear later at 60 miles an hour. So we're just using the right gear for the right time. We need to keep control of the steering wheel, so they don't want you to sort of take your hands off or anything. We need to be making progress, so they want you to keep up with the speed of the road. Don't hold back. You don't want to overwork the engine, and you want to just try and save fuel, so we don't want to over rev the engine. The gears buy flexibility, so sometimes if we think we're going to accelerate, we need to accelerate, then to keep it in a lower gear, so that you've got the engine braking as well. So you think, well, I might have to brake hard for this, so I'll keep it in a lower gear, so you get the engine braking as well as the foot brake. And then we slow down when we need to, and accelerate if it's safe. So if it's clear, then you just want to get your speed up and then go. The handbrake on this type of test, you don't always need to use it. There'll be more flexibilities. You're an advanced driver, so there will be more flexibility, and it's acceptable to sit on the foot brake here. So if you're waiting at a junction, obviously with the learners, you get to put the handbrake on to sort of save them slipping off the clutch or rolling back or whatever. But at this advanced level, you just hold it with the foot brake. That's fine. All controls must be done smoothly, safely, and in good time. So we want to keep the car as really smoothly and safely as we can, and do everything well in advance. Often when I'm driving, if I'm doing things a little bit late, what I do is I'll rewind it in my head and say, okay, I approach that junction a little bit too quickly. When, at what point do I need to start braking, and what gear do I need to put it in, so that I'm thinking well ahead. We need to constantly ask ourselves, has control safety been compromised here? So we don't want to, if it has been, rewind the clock, go back and realise what time do we need to make those decisions. So we need to, that's the main part of part one. The next part is move off and stop procedures, and that will be covered a bit later.